Kilnalahan is unique in terms of Irish monastic history, as it was the site of Ireland's only Carthusian foundation. It is significant because it shows evidence from early Christian Ireland, records showing that it was founded in early 1252. At that time, Richard de Burgo owned several castles and lots of land in Connacht, and he distributed some of this land to his loyal tenants and to the knights who had served him well in battle, one of whom was John de Cogan. In turn, John de Cogan later decided to give some of this land to the Carthusian monks. The Carthusian order was strictly contemplative: prayer, study, spiritual reading, and manual labour. The monks lived a life of solitude in their cells, joining the other monks for daily Mass and Vespers in their monastic church. Their solitary existence did not create any public awareness or attract any new recruits, and so this may have contributed to their exodus from Ireland in 1321. The Knight Hospitallers of St. John of Jerusalem became the new owners, although they may never have occupied the monastery, residing, tradition tells us, in the castle in Coolfin. The Franciscans arrived at Kilnalahan in 1371, establishing the order's first new foundation in Ireland since 1325. There were similarities between the Carthusians and the Franciscans in that both orders were committed to following a religious rule, but this was expressed in very different forms of life. The Franciscans got involved with the local community, and perhaps that contributed to their survival well into the 18th century. Although they vacated the site in 1740, moving to the nearby townland of Tomini, there is evidence that they still ministered to the local community from Kilnalahan for several more years. We do know that in 1796, a Frenchman walked through Ireland, and in his book, later translated into English by John Stevenson, he came to the village of Abbey. He mentions the considerable abbey with a church dedicated to the Virgin, and he found the place crowded, as it seems to be a fête day in the village. And we think ourselves that that was probably the 15th of August, which is the standard day when Mass is celebrated in the cemetery to this day. He states that in the cemetery 2 or 3 priests were occupied hearing the confessions of penitents. They sat on stones and each held a little flag, which was used to separate the penitent from the crowd. This is first-hand evidence of what was happening in the monastery in 1796. Kilnalahan is also famous for the visit of Brother Micheál O'Clery, one of the celebrated 4 masters who came to Kilnalahan to study manuscripts, and in particular the Leabhar Brac, or Leabhar Mór Dún-Mhíre, which was housed in Kilnalahan for most of the 17th century. He certifies his visit in a footnote he made in his Life of St. Cailleach, and this visit is also depicted in a moulding on one of the pillars in St. Brendan's Cathedral in Loughrea. In 1642, John de Burgo was consecrated Bishop of Clonfert in the church of the Franciscan friars in Kilnalahan, which included among the attendees Ulick, the 5th Earl of Clanrickard, Malachy O'Queely, Archbishop of Tuam, Bishop Egan of Elphin, and Bishop O'Mahony of Killaloe. The consecration is also depicted in another moulding on the pillars in St. Brendan's Cathedral in Loughrea.